16, and Halifax just starting to get into the groove at the end of the first half, and their supporters will be hoping that they can hold the groove. Doncaster get the second half underway. They showed great spirit in the first 40 minutes, but they did so against Featherstone last weekend and caved in the second half, conceding 50 second half points. Can they avert that this time?
You know, we monitor a lot of stats in rugby league, but one stat that's impossible to measure is how hard a player or a team run with possession. I think the last three runs from the Halifax players were probably harder than many that they put in that first half. Running strongly, running with a determined fashion and mindset makes such a difference, but not when your teammates can't find touch with a penalty.
Second half starting as the first half started, with Halifax failing to find touch with that kick, and Doncaster back in possession. Key man missing for Halifax tonight. Ben Black out with a leg injury. He's down on the sidelines, waiting to talk to Rod Studd.
Ben, thanks for joining us. I dare say those tries at the end of the half put a different complexion on Matt Callan's half-time team talk. What was the chat in the dressing sheds?
Mate, yeah, Matt was a bit disappointed with that completion rate in that first half. Just said to be a bit more patient, and the tries will come. Just said to win the floor. I think they're getting a bit of the floor at the moment, so he just said to come out, keep our heads up, and the try should come.
You think the players tried to do too much too soon and maybe didn't get the basics and win the tackle, win the possession? Yeah, mate. We forced that extra ball a bit too much, and it's paid off for them. They're having a bit more luck in the tackles here. But if we just hold the ball, I think we'll be right. Just a quick word on your injury. When can we expect to see you back on the paddock? I'll be back in 2 weeks. Yeah, just a bit of nerve damage in the fibula. So 2 weeks time I'll be back. Yeah. Good on you. Thanks, Ben. Cheers. Thank you.
Good news for Halifax supporters. Ben Black on the way back. That leg injury not as serious as thought, although he did leave the field against Sheffield on crutches and had to go for an x-ray. It's nerve damage, apparently.
Nerve damage in the fibia, Bill.
Nerve damage in the fibia. Oh, that's bad for the nerves out there. The pass from Barker. Continues for Matt Callan. Frustration again.
And the play was a good one, wasn't it? They had the space, but the pass let them down. When Barker, ball drips down, he can't quite deliver it under pressure. I'd like to know where the fibia is too, Barry. I think it begins with a T. I think it's the tibia, isn't it?
Into the fibia and the tibia.
No, it's the fibula and the tibia, but we're getting a bit anatomic.
What does anatomical mean?
Here's Andreas Bauer.
Is that an insult?
You just carry on. You just carry on.
Are you insulting me?
Bauer plays the ball. So Doncaster back in possession with Craig Holtz, another of the youngsters. He's just 18, a former Lock Lane amateur, Craig Holtz. Speak.
Oh, nice footwork for Retty there, didn't he? As soon as he caught the possession, exploded off that right foot to get away from the Halifax defence. Still managed to hold him down.
Good pedigree, Wayne Retty, a former Leeds Academy player. Whedon's pass. And Cody managing to cling on to the ball. Did well there, Cody. This is the last, and Whedon hoists the kick. Greenwood is under pressure. Greenwood being challenged by Dean Colton.
Well, I think Josh Whedon's had a great game tonight so far at this stage. So many of his kicks have been difficult for Halifax to cope with. Was he challenging for the ball up in the air, Dean Coulton? That's what the referee says.
This is a 50-50 one.
I think he's gone straight for the man, hasn't he?
Well, I think he was trying to pull out, but anyway, the referee says it's a goal line dropout.
Looked a bit harsh on Greenwood. It was harsh on Greenwood, but it's Doncaster back in possession. Castle plays the ball. Here's Ross Devorty, been impressive for the Dons this evening as the 20-year-old. Benson now. Alex Benson back in action. He had a really nasty back injury, was out for 8 months, has had major back surgery, and only played 50 minutes his first game for some time against Featherstone. That's a bad pass, and it's going to be scooped up by Hemingway. Hemingway does well there. Gets it to James, and Halifax will bring the ball away.
Some imagination in Doncaster's attack, but they'll be tested here now because Halifax have the ability to up the tempo, particularly around the play the ball area. Ball's not hitting the man on the wing. Colton can't get the ball, and they're still prepared to shift that ball, don't they, to go wide to the right. See if they can find any space.
Steen with the tackle, Mark Castle in there as well, on Tamgart. Bezic straightens it up the middle. Again, good defence. It was Steen and Castle again with the tackling. That's the 5th tackle. Doncaster trying to keep Halifax at bay here. Bezic stabs the kick through. Castle stood his ground and Bezic felt that. And it's Wayne Retty who'll try and run it back. Retty, a Londoner who came north to play league. And gets the penalty. Struggling to get to his feet there.
Well, Doncaster helped out of this tough corner of the field by a ball steal. The referee says the ball was pulled out. Either Barker or Smith, the touch judge helps. Both of them had a hand on it at some stage.
I don't agree with that one, Phil. I think he's lost control of that, Retty. It's a tough call on Halifax, but what is their mental reaction? Some pressure being applied from them now in the opening couple of minutes.
Really spirited performance this from this Doncaster side. Devorty. Tony Miller watching from the sidelines as his latest stitched together side, well, makes a hash of that. Steen couldn't take the pass. He was dipping it at his toes. From Speak, he should have taken that maybe.
Well, we're seeing a lot of these left to right passes misdirected. It's almost uncatchable, isn't it, that for Ryan Steen at that point.
Shad Royston's right up into his face. He's trying to almost change his line and grab the ball at the same time.
Ball in. It's got to go in at the front, Matt, not in there.
Referee calling him back to reset the scrum.
Poor Andy Speak here, number 22 for Doncaster. He's looking at the man, he's twice his size. He's just going to have to try and stop him somehow.
Well, he gets a bit of support from Ross Devorty to stop the progress of Frank Watine, but can they stop the progress of Halifax now? And Greenwood, fancy footwork from the fullback, takes him over the halfway line. 2 tackles gone. Gleeson now, Tamgart on his shoulder. Bustling run from the Frenchman.
Move, Craig, it's you every time. Come on, go.
Gleeson now. Here's Penkovic. Penkovic for Paul Smith. Smith, lovely pass from Smith. It's Bowman who is tackled. Down the short side. Penkovic fancying his own chances, gets the ball back in field, but not before he was in touch. Good defence from Halifax. Good defence from Doncaster. The Halifax skipper not agreeing with that decision. He thought he'd got the ball away before he was bundled into touch.
And when you're tired and hurting as Doncaster are, you have to find something special, and they have here. Push him over the sideline. Does he get rid of the ball just in time?
But it bounced on the line.
I'm not sure it's the best decision to go on that short side. Look how many white shirts are in the frame there. No, I think that's the right decision.
Good work. Touch.
So Doncaster holding their own at the start of this second half. Halifax ahead by 16 points to 4. That flurry of points at the end of the first half, putting them in, not exactly in control. You wouldn't go that far. Craig Holt plays the ball.
3. Move. Hold. Go.
Whedon.
Well, it's a different Halifax here. We're going to make life far harder for Doncaster to get out of this part of the field. What's happened to Matt
James has gone down as though he's poleaxed, and I think he and somebody clashed heads there, and I think it might have been Tamgart when he came in to join the tackle, has cleaned out his own player. I think that might have been what happened.
You need to be careful.
He was the one first to fire up and make life hard for Bauer.
Take your time with him, guys. Time's off.
Yeah, it's a head clash. Oh, it rocks backwards.
All right, no worries. You just banged his head.
And the signal going out, as you see, Matt James flat out that
All right, no worries.
he's not going to be able to continue, although he might
We're going to have to wait for
have
him.
other ideas about that. Had an eventful game as Matt James. He lifted the side when he came on. He put a great big hit. Tamgart just sort of blinks and gets on with it.
Yeah, Matt.
French hard nut.
Stay on. Just stay square. I'll tell you when. Hang on, Andreas.
Everyone seems to be okay.
Yep, Matt James is back on his feet, thankfully.
Time back up.
The challenge for Doncaster to make a metre forward in defence here is the one.
Just seconds before that, you were saying that they were going to start making life hard for Doncaster. They've been making life hard for their own. Oh, that kick just managing to find a little bit of greenery from Whedon.
Well, it's going to be very hard for Doncaster in the next few minutes because Halifax have decided they're going to play tough. The ball just about lands, does it? Yes, in the field of play. Had it landed on the line, it would have been classed as ball out on the full, almost over the line. The line is out.
That touch is having a stormer. Royston quickly closed down. Just inside his own half. Looks up and says, what hit me? Was it legal? James, he's dumped to the ground. Well, Doncaster saying, OK, we're going to respond in kind. Gleeson, here's Greenwood. Tamgart again, motoring up the middle.
It's great when you see both teams putting as much effort in the defence as they do in an attack.
Doncaster have got their tails up without a shadow of a doubt. Not at any point have they looked in danger of being, you know, on the wrong end of a landslide here, and they're matching Halifax in every department except the scoreboard.
Good work from Royston to get the ball to Patterson. Patterson went back in field, and now with Bezic for Penkovic. This is looking threatening. Bowman steps back in field. That's the 5th tackle. It's good work from Cody.
17.
Penkovic stabs the kick in, and I think Benson will swoop on that. And again, Doncaster managing to man the barricades and keep the opposition at bay, and Andreas Bauer trying to weave his way up the field.
It's far harder than it looks to actually kick the ball through the defenders' legs, in the gaps, in the spaces. Penkovic sees that problem. Some counter-attack here now from Doncaster. They want to go with a tempo.
This is great work.
He's been good. He's been really good, Michael Cody.
Cody plays the ball. Short ball from Speak to Devorty. And then Steen puts a kick into the corner, inviting a little chase, but there's nobody accepting the invitation.
Come on, Saeed, they'll wait for you, mate.
Exactly. Well, don't know what he was thinking of there, Ryan Steen.
So many of the kicks go too far, don't they? Getting the distance on the kick downfield is the hardest skill that so many rugby league players haven't quite mastered.
Still 16 points to 4 as it was at half-time in favour of Halifax. And this Doncaster side proving they're a tough side to crack, but great offload from Tamgart. Finds Greenwood. Greenwood tackled by Benson. Here is Matt James.
No slide pushing on the floor.
James eventually taken to ground. Bezic. Penkovic delays the pass. Paul Smith. Dwayne Barker now. That's the 5th tackle.
Will they put it on the floor or in the air?
First time tonight the ball's gone high, and Colton coming for it. Oh, they've knocked that ball forward. It was Royston who was challenging for it, and Colton, who was struggling at one point, is the man who comes up with it.
Well, an excellent kick, really. Perfectly placed, and Royston got to position in time, but couldn't quite take it. Did everything to complement the quality of the kick. And now again, Halifax trying to press the Doncaster side, forcing them backwards, even in possession.
Dean Colton playing the ball. He's now the longest serving Doncaster player, following Peter Green's departure in his 7th season at the club. Just had a season at Featherstone, Dean Colton. There's Ryan Steen. And now then, Whedon thumps that ball upfield. And it's a good kick, and Greenwood, he's going to have to retrieve that one from inside his own in-goal area.
We've got a great game on our hands here. End-to-end, aren't we, literally, in territory. Scoreboard hasn't changed in 13 minutes of the second half. And Doncaster certainly surprising, I think, the Halifax side, Halifax supporters who arrived here today expecting a points possession.
Well, that could yet materialise, because just as in the first half,
that's forward, isn't it?
Was forward, surely.
That was like a Dan Marino pass, that. I'm struggling to figure out who in this Halifax side will just jam it under his wing and chew up those metres if Frank Watini doesn't do it. It's pass, pass, pass.
But they're going to run this Doncaster side off their feet, surely. That's the 5th tackle.
And it looked that way in the first half. 20 minutes in, there were one or two white jerseys having to walk around, but they found a second wind and they pressed on again. Some intelligent interchanges by Tony Miller. There's Michael Cody now running the ball back.
Playing in the full back roll, Cody. Gets to his feet to play the ball. Craig Holt.
Hold. Move.
Makes yards for his side. Oh, big hit, and it's Matt James again. And James has then followed up to bring down Ryan Steen.
Good impact, but no control.
Move.
Matt James using that shoulder charge technique just doesn't control the tackle. Doncaster effectively lose nothing.
There is Matt James. Well,
40 and clear.
he's certainly tried to lift his teammates since he's been on the field.
Well, you said that Doncaster may tire. Look at the quality of the chase here, the enthusiasm still in the Don side, the white jerseys, Whedon up there to make the tackle, along with Ellery.
Go.
Penkovic. Now they go wide. Patterson, and Patterson will cut back in field, and he'll have support from Penkovic, who couldn't taste the pass. And Andreas Bauer picks it up, and the referee will call him back for the knock-on. And
Do you know the worst?
Hands on hips, and players just looking at each other.
The worst thing about this to me, it's an excellent break. He breaks the first defender. Penkovic drops the ball and does not secure possession. When you make an error, just get hold of the ball.
Tight heads. Who's going in there? Come on, Matt.
So another mistake from this Halifax side, who still lead by 16 points to 4. And then the mistake by Josh Whedon. A simple error from Josh Whedon, and then he's mouthed off at the referee and conceded the penalty.
Well, tough call. They said it was a knock-on. Whedon didn't agree. And from almost starting in a position that they looked like they may score, they're now to defend one, because the Halifax side have the bit between their teeth here.
Yeah, they could pay a heavy price for that indiscipline. Gleeson, Tamgart was the dummy runner. Here is Penkovic. Penkovic for Barker. Barker dumps the ball out the back door. Bezic cannons off Gary Ellery, and then skips across the field and dumps the ball back into the arms of Gleeson. Gleeson for Tamgart. Tamgart out the back door. Bowman fancied it himself. And they really are pinging this ball around now. Barker back on the inside for Paul Smith. And surely this Doncaster defence is going to cave in at some point. Oh, not like that, it's not, as Bezic puts the ball down. Oh, dear me.
Well, they're almost trying to play Adley rugby, aren't they? And yet it's not suiting the field tonight, the style.
Lost their approach. And Mojo's just gone.
Because he did it that way, and then went that way. It's gone now, Josh, anyway.
Not impressed.
Bowling. Out, Bob, don't be wrestling with him
So
on the
Doncaster
floor.
survived that.
WWE.
And Andres Bauer in possession.
That's one.
To think that Halifax took Doncaster apart earlier in the season. They won 44-12 at the Shea last month. Didn't have any problems that day.
No, it was the
But
last
this
time.
is a tenacious Doncaster side.
Hold. Go.
Devorty.
He's done well, hasn't he? Gets
He
himself
has.
between two defenders, almost gets the ball free.
10 meters, Saeed, go.
Gary Ellery now.
Oh, he had that ball very low. He's still juggling with it now.
Move, Dwayne. Go.
That's the 5th tackle. Speak.
Clear.
Goes to the air and doesn't make a great deal of distance on that. Whedon puts a little kick in. Penkovic back there to gather the ball for his side. And then links up with Haley. But Haley runs into some Doncaster defenders led by Ross Devorty. Here is Greenwood.
He's looked a threat, real dangerous player when the ball's in his hands, or even if he's close to possession. Has supported a lot of the forwards. Again, you see him there pushing up in support, just on the outside of Wilson.
Gleeson Tamgart looking to offload, did so, it went backwards, says the referee, and Gleeson is away, needs some support, he's got it from Penkovic, and Penkovic will get the try that Halifax have been threatening, and it was a great offload that set that try up, and sighs of relief from the Halifax supporters there as their side eventually manages to put it together. And Sean Penkovic finishing off the move, but it was Mark Gleeson who created it. Penkovic getting his 11th try of the season.
Halifax have got some great forwards at keeping the ball alive in the tackle and providing the late offload. Tamgart is one of them. On this occasion it comes off for the Halifax team, flicks it behind it in anticipation that Mark Gleeson will be there, and it's a brilliant 2v1 situation. The fullback does well because he delays and delays to make the decision for Gleeson longer and longer, and yet there's no panic from the hooker. He's confident there'll be support in time, delays the pass perfectly, and Penkovic puts it down close to the posts.
Lee Patterson from bang in front of the posts adds the extras, his third success from 4 attempts, and Halifax lead by 22 points to 4 now.
It was Saeed Tamgard on that occasion that decided to just ramp up, jam it up the middle, and he's allowed to throw that ball because of the lack of control in collision. And Phil's already mentioned it, he does an excellent job, young Gleeson.
Here's James Haley now. And ironically, it's the Doncaster supporters who are still making the most noise. The Halifax fans still, I think, waiting to see the best from their side. Well, it might be yet to come in the last quarter of this game. Bowman will play the ball. Gleeson. Bezic. Here is Miles Greenwood now. Greenwood threatening, going on the outside, gets away from Colton. Comes back in field and eventually is stopped by Whedon. 2 tackles gone. Bezic juggling with that. Paul Smith now. Bowman. Bowman collared on that Doncaster 20-metre line. On the last, the kick from Penkovic. Cody is underneath it, takes that one well. And Cody gets away on the outside.
He looks like a player, doesn't he?
Well, he's played quite a bit of rugby union as Michael Cody. He's actually played at Twickenham for England under-23s, I think it was.
Just injured his ankle, I think, in the process of playing that, making that tackle. With the knee.
Put the mockers on him there.
But the chase was poor from Halifax here. Here's the run out of his own end zone. I think you're right, Phil, an ankle or a knee injury. He's still on the floor, back down, behind play. But the kick chase was poor. A kick is only as good as its chase.
Ryan Steen. Josh Whedon skipping away, and then a hand in there from Penkovic. Referee will call him back.
I'm really impressed with the invention and creativity from Doncaster. Losing last week, 68 points they conceded at Featherstone, and yet they're attempting things. Their defence has been so much stronger. The only try of this second half came from the miracle offload from Tamgart in the middle of the field. They haven't been split defensively.
Carl Hall, Tony Miller, they'll be delighted. I don't think at any point have any white flags up been put up by this Doncaster side.
Spot on.
No, stand square, stand square.
Written off before the game. And certainly candidates for the drop, and that's a great break. It's with Wayne Opie. An Opie tackle on the 30-metre line, and he came from nowhere. Josh Whedon now. Andreas Bauer, try scorer for the Dons in the first half. Cody is back on his feet. Colton is off his.
Go.
Cook now. Here is Whedon. Whedon for Gary Ellery. Ellery
On the line.
inside the 10 now. Can Doncaster find a way through this defence? Whedon puts the kick in, and Patterson back there to gather it. But that'll be another goal line dropout.
Don't throw it away.
Well, he's put the opponents under pressure here. Patterson has to gather the ball. He has to control the ball, not lose possession here from the scrum. Great run from Wayne Opie. Hits the ball at pace from the scrum. It's so much about timing, and the timing of his run helped to get his side on the front foot and downfield.
Good distance on that goal line dropout. And Gary Ellery trundles it back. I think trundles is probably the word there.
Move! 10 metres. Hold, Dave. Go.
Doncaster with Jake Bassinder now. Two tackles gone.
Move! Hold. Go.
Speak, trying to take him on himself. Haven't seen him try that one yet, Speak. Whedon might fancy his chances for Ryan Steen. Steen still going. Needed a good tackle from David Wrench to halt his progress. Steen to his feet. Craig Cook. Cook fires the pass to Bauer. Bauer did well to take that. That's the 5th tackle, right on that try line. What will Cook come up with? What will Whedon come up with? Crossfield kick. And well dealt with by James Haley.
Well, just too deep for any of his teammates to get into a position to contest for the ball in the air. They had the momentum sprinting onto the ball, but weren't able to get there before Halifax.
Yeah, he did. It was close enough.
The form of Haley, James Haley, were taking the possession.
Come on, hold, go. Quicker, 24.
There is Penkovic. Bowman on the charge.
Move!
Andy Bowman's shown up well. His brother Anthony apparently is a very talented player as well. Younger brother who's apparently been interesting Wigan, or has interested Wigan in the early days of his career, Anthony Bowman. It's Andy Bowman who's in action this evening for Halifax. And that's a good kick through, and Haley will chase that. Well dealt with by Retty, but he's knocked that one on, I think.
Well, great kick. He's pointing towards his own try line. He makes a fair point, doesn't he? How's he knocked this on here? He runs back. He has to dive on a loose and bouncing ball.
It goes underneath. It goes underneath him, therefore going forward, I think.
I still don't know how it's gone forward. It's still going backwards. The ball's going backwards.
But he has gone past the ball.
That doesn't mean he's knocked the ball forwards.
Well,
anyway,
Halifax in possession. It's right like running a kindergarten, this is. It's Gleeson now, trying to step his way through.
Move!
Halifax really looking to another try on the board, and you feel that they'd be able to kick on and really put this game to bed. And Royston will get the ball out wide, and Patterson will get the try. Although, first call for video ref James Child to see whether they grounded it, and that probably symptomatic of Halifax's performance there, because even with the try line open, they almost managed to foul it up, but I don't think Patterson did.
Now, there's some good skill here. Halifax have tried tonight, 2010ers, passing the ball to the wingers from side to side. It is good rugby league, and I think this is a good try for them.
Shad Royston almost messes it up. He doesn't know whether to go or to pass, and he stumbles and almost drags the defender towards the man in your screen putting the ball down. Now, this is a try, no doubt about that, but let's give a lot of credit to the defence.
Try, okay. Turn back on.
Robert Hicks waiting for the word from the video ref, and the word is that is a try for Lee Patterson, his 6th try of the season, which he will attempt to convert as well. And Halifax, oh, you might not know it from the look on the face of the coach, but Halifax are in control of this game now.
Well, this is the incident here. Penkovic kicks it through. I think it's a dubious knock-on. It's irrelevant now because the referee said that it's a knock-on from Wayne Retty. Look, he's questioned. He says, I'm facing my own goal line. Anyway, to scrum down, and Halifax with some quality passing. The one from Bezic is a very long one. Royston with 30 minutes to go doesn't know whether to stick or twist. Eventually he puts the hands into Patterson, ball into Patterson. And he's now got a chance to add 2 more points if he can kick this from the side.
And Lee Patterson has missed with that one, and that's not been happening that often this season. Lee Patterson missing conversions, but Halifax ahead now by 26 points to 4.
Of the two teams, you feel like Halifax are just waiting for that final whistle. Doncaster are having a whale of a time. They don't care when the whistle goes. It's just another opportunity to do something, and do something positive.
Okay, Josh.
I don't think they'll want to play all night, but I think in this vein of form,
Here come Halifax again.
Move, hold.
With Wrench.
Hold, go.
Dave Wrench will try and tighten things up, you know.
Oh. How many times have you used that one?
Loads.
Wait for the foot.
Still love it.
Gleeson.
Craig Holt, 10 metres.
Bezic. James.
And involved. Craig
An
Holt.
offside against this Doncaster team.
I called the offside. No. Okay, now.
Well, Bezic wants to play on here as quickly as possible. The referee had said to Craig Holt, you're offside. He couldn't resist the temptation and he got involved in making the tackle. Before even Doncaster back on side, Halifax, who David Larder are just 50 metres from the try line.
Move, hold, go.
Gleeson now. Gleeson will go on his own, and Whedon tried to make a grab at him, but Gleeson just ghosted through a gap in the Doncaster defence there. And now the Halifax supporters on their feet. That's more like it from their side. The Doncaster defence looking a little bit weary for the first time tonight. And Gleeson getting another try for Fax.
Well, Halifax's greatest strength, probably this season, and the threat that they pose to most sides, is the speed that they have at the action half-back. Most people nowadays think that it's the most important role in rugby league, and Halifax have 3 of the best in this competition. Mark Gleeson's one in the side, Bob Bezic is equally as dangerous, and Sean Penkovic, wearing the number 9, can play and exploit sides if the defence isn't set when that ball is played.
Lee Patterson then with this conversion attempt. He's missed another one.
I think that's what you call ironic.
But Halifax will extend their lead at the top of the table now over the Barrow Raiders, no doubt about that. 30 points to 4 ahead. Here they are against second from bottom Doncaster. And it's worth the journey, although the journey was for nothing, courtesy of the very generous Halifax club. And I'm sure Doncaster are very grateful for it as well. Swelled the coppers here. So Barrow with an opportunity to make up a bit of ground. Their chance will come over the weekend, and they have a big game. They face Featherstone Rovers, 4th placed Featherstone Rovers, on Sunday at Craven Park. And Barrow Raiders, of course, on the back of a defeat. They lost in Toulouse. So Halifax back to winning ways, and Barrow Raiders will be attempting to do that as well at home to Featherstone.
Hold, go.
Here is Bezic. Bezic puts the kick through, and Patterson will chase it, but that's going to find touch.
Come down.
I think that's a bit of relief for Doncaster. There was a danger that Halifax could run away in the last 10 minutes and continue to score from kick-off sets. That hasn't been the case here now. They get a 20-second rest while the scrum's formed, and they work their way back upfield.
Come on, Frank, we've only 10 minutes, mate. We're nearly there. Tight heads, Dave. What's that? 2 hands.
Josh Whedon taking his time to feed this scrum. Ryan Steen, he's shown up well for this Doncaster side. Tony Miller will be able to take plenty of positives from this performance in the relegation battle that his side undoubtedly faces. It looks as though it's really they and the Batley Bulldogs who are just below them in the table,
2 feet,
on points difference. They're really going to have to dig themselves out, but as Carl Harrison was saying on Boots and All last night, they know exactly how tough it is going to be. There are some good sides in this competition, as Sheffield Eagles showed when they won at Halifax last weekend, and Sheffield Eagles aren't that far off the relegation zone. Of course, Toulouse exempt from the drop. Gateshead Thunder, and no easy beats either, as Whitehaven will testify.
He's inside, isn't he?
And they have strengthened by new recruits recently.
Doesn't matter, but that's one. Move!
Halifax, in fact, looking to pin 1 or 2 of their key players down to new contracts, I understand. Talks going on at the moment with some key figures, Saeed Tamgart among them. And I think they'd like to get Bob Bezic tied up as well. They'd like to get that ball tied up, but Frank Wattina spilled it.
I think that's wrong. I think Frank Watina's got hold of the ball and the Doncaster player pulls it out. What do you think, Phil?
What happened to your loose carry?
He's not a loose carry, it's got it clamped in. Look at that Doncaster player. What do you think, Phil? Are you going to disagree with me on that one as well? Just for the sake of it.
That's one.
I can't remember what you said now, Barry, so I don't know which way to go.
Tackle's complete.
You're getting all autonomical on me again.
Penalty against Bowman.
Come on, Craig, behave.
Now then, have Doncaster got a little something left in the closing minutes here at the Keepmoat Stadium? They've battled really hard in defence. They haven't really threatened the Halifax line that often. Can they do so now with Craig Cook?
2 feet.
Matt James with the tackle. Castle. Legs driving, trying to get nearer the try line. He's gripped by Wrench. Looping pass for Whedon. Whedon back on the inside with Craig Holt. Holt will play the ball. Here is Josh Whedon now. Whedon, little chip kick over the top. Patterson is up there. The ball is loose, and eventually
20 metre east.
it's a Doncaster hand that knocked it over the dead ball line, and it'll be a tap on the 20.
They've tried everything they can, but they can't, unfortunately, get any more points. Just a 4 at the moment. They don't give you points for effort in rugby league, but Doncaster are determined, I think, before the end of the game to score more.
No, bonus point well out of their reach tonight.
I feel in the last 5 minutes that Halifax just could explode into life and score some really spectacular try.
Penkovic has lost that ball. Knocked it on, said the referee.
No,
The Halifax skipper thinking that it was stolen from him.
It looked, didn't it, as though he ripped it down.
No, I disagree, Phil. Just for the sake of it.
Well, surely then it was Benson's knock on. If he did. Well, it's Halifax who'll get head and feet at the scrum. Opie now. Turns away from one. Hands off another one. Into the last 5 minutes here at the Keepmoat. Halifax ahead by 30 points to 4. Not the landslide that people were anticipating. Here's Andreas Bauer. Little burst of pace. Little touch of cramp. Whedon. Another player who has been linked with a move away from Doncaster because of their financial problems, but Josh Whedon sticking it out at the moment. But it is difficult for these players. They were asked to take a pay cut recently, which they accepted, but that's what's really precipitated this player crisis that they've got. Again, looking to get the kick in behind the Halifax defence. Too strong. Colton couldn't get to it. Was that please let it be over?
He's up.
I think you want something special. The Halifax supporters have made the effort to travel here to Doncaster. Want to see something spectacular.
Sam Gart can't believe that.
You tried to offload and you just lost it forward. Just come down.
The referee is saying that he tried to offload that ball. He didn't in a million years. Look at him.
Get you ready. Ball in.
It's been very messy.
So head and feed to Doncaster at that scrum. And they do get the ball away to Wayne Retty, but Retty is collared by James Haley. Here's Ross Devorty, and this time Frank Wittine was like a barn door slamming in his face. The pass changes direction from Whedon, finds Mark Castle. 3 minutes to go. Devorty fancies it himself. Ball over the top from him, gets it to Craig Cook. Cook wrapped up by Gleeson. Penkovic there to make the tackle as well. Now here is Whedon. Whedon shows the ball. Then for Ryan Steen. That's the 5th tackle. Andreas Bauer. It's worked with the kick once for him. Will it work again? No, not this time. Bowman gets the ball. Gets dragged back. Halifax could have had a penalty there. I don't think the referee saw that one.
Move! Go!
Frank Wittine.
3. Move!
The team plays the ball. Gleeson, Larder.
4. 10 metres.
Never stops trying, David Larder, regular top tackler for this Halifax side.
Go.
And here is Bezic. Bezic. Royston.
5.
Royston is tackled. That's the 5th tackle. Gleeson for Patterson. Patterson down the touchline. He's got Royston in support, and Royston will get the try that wraps it up for this Halifax side. Great work down the left-hand flank from Lee Patterson, and Shad Royston, well, he had to get on the score sheet. The top scorer for the side this season gets try number 14, finishing off that move. And they flickered into life this evening of Halifax, but they haven't really ignited like we have seen this season. I think that's what's disappointed people.
They may well have the final say in this match, but they certainly haven't done enough to command it. Doncaster deserve lots of credit. That's just a quality try scored by very intelligent players. Lovely short side play. Where has this been for 75 minutes or so? The answer is Doncaster have not let them play like that.
Shad Royston returning to Doncaster, where he had one season, and Lee Patterson converting his try. Royston here in 2006. And he adds to the Halifax.
Play on.
Tricky restart. Well fielded. Tangart brings it back. Last few seconds here, and the Doncaster fans still cheering their side on. And well they might, because it has been a gutsy performance from this, but they might not have finished yet, because here comes Patterson. Patterson kicks ahead. Royston is chasing this. Colton is as well, and Colton belts it dead. The hooter will sound. The end of the action. Commitment to the end from Dean Colton and the Doncaster side. But Matt Callan's team have been too strong for them in the end. Tony Miller, though, can be proud of the effort that his underdogs have put in. And both sets of supporters saluting their team. Matt James, really one of the catalysts for an improvement from this Halifax team. And the hundreds of supporters who've travelled here this evening have seen their side consolidate their lead at the top of the championship and get back to winning ways after the defeat, the shock defeat last Sunday. Mark Gleeson certainly an integral performer in this Halifax performance in the second half, when maybe they did just lift their game a little bit, Barry.
I think when Matt Callan got them in at half-time, he gave them a specific target and a specific goal. Forget about the scoreboard. I don't think there was ever any doubt that they would win this match. Performance-wise, they wanted to be proud of what they put on the pitch in the second half. And again, I keep saying it, but Doncaster deserve a lot of credit. Players like Whedon, players like Colton, players like Devote really put themselves about all over the pitch, and some of the better players in this league didn't match it with players who had more commitment, more desire. Tony Miller, Carl Hall in your picture, you know, they came to this game on a hiding to nothing, and they did extremely well, did the players from Doncaster.
Tony Miller will go out and greet his side, but we can hear now from the man of the match, and Bob Bezic has got that nomination, has got that award. He's down on the sidelines and getting beautified, waiting to talk to Rod.
Bob, you're the man of the match. Well done. In all honesty, hand on heart, was that a lot tougher than you expected here tonight?
No, we knew Doncaster would come at us, you know. It's always physical up here, but we're a bit disappointed with ourselves, especially the first half. But second half of the second, we did all right.
What's disappointed you?
Our completion rate, I think it was pretty poor. Thought our defence was a bit better today, but our completion rate, we're giving ourselves a bit too much to do sometimes.
Yeah, you moved another 3 points clear at the top of the table, though, so there's clear water between you and the rest now.
Yeah, but they're hot on our reels, you know. It's a tough league this year, and we're doing all right, but we're not 100% yet.
Yeah, you're the man of the match. There's £100 to the charity of choice. Bob, can you tell us where that may be going?
Yeah, it's from my mate Lowy. He's had a bit of trouble, and it's to Galloway's a charity that's helped him out a bit. Can I say I took Coffee Club as well?
You've just done it.
Cheers, man.
Well done, Bob. Let's move on to Matt Cullen, the Halifax head coach. Matt, you came here as overwhelming favourites, so is there a tinge of disappointment, even though that you've put a lot of points on in the end?
Very disappointed with today's performance. I thought we were, you know, off the ball, off the pace. The defence, we were pretty soft today, even though we only let 4 points in. So You know, we've hit a bit of a dip in form since the Challenge Cup game against Castleford, but I'm sure we'll be back.
How much did that game at Castleford take out of you? Because we all know how close you were to winning that tie at the Jungle.
Well, as you can see, it's took an awful lot out of us, but we've got 2 weekends off now to regather. You know, and I'm sure we'll get back up. It's time to roll our sleeves up now and get back to what's worked for us.
Yeah, the key is that you're on form when the season comes to the business end and the grand final end of the season.
Well, yeah, that's when it counts, you know, and I'm sure we'll be looking to build our form now towards the end of the season.
OK, Matt, thanks very much indeed. Let's just get the Doncaster coach, Tony Miller, who's just away to our left-hand side. Tony, we all know about the problems at the club here. Well, we don't know much about it as you do, obviously, but players have had to leave, including your captain. Just assess the quality of your team's performance, bearing in mind the background for us.
I think it's been superb from every one of them. There's been a lot of troubles, as you've just said. We've had a lot of positional changes. Both of our half-backs and as captains have gone. So the players that's come in, they had a chance to train together, and the effort there was everyone to see. I know it was the runaway a little bit at the end, but I thought the effort that went for the full 80 minutes, and it was a full credit to all the players. So I can't thank them enough for the efforts.
Yeah, just tell us how difficult it is coming into work, coming into training for players who know about the club's financial difficulty, maybe worrying about getting paid, maybe worrying about paying mortgages and so on.
Yeah, it's hard to keep focused when there's a lot of, like you say, people. It's hard as it is for in this day and age with money problems. But I think that tonight they showed that they wanted to play for Doncaster. They put all the troubles behind them, and I thought they give a great effort, every one of them. And I think every one of them deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, and as you've said, it would have been easy for them to fall away when the game had gone in the second half. But they've carried on defending the try line right until 79 minutes, 59 seconds.
Yeah, they're a quality side, they've bags of pace, and they could have run away with a cricket score. I know they run away a little bit with it, but I think as effort and commitment were there for the full 80 minutes, and that's all you can ask from the players.
Thanks, Tony, all the best.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you, much appreciated. Thank you.
So Halifax running out comfortable winners, if not convincing winners, 36 points to 4, 7 tries to 1. The try tally, just that solo performance from Andreas Bauer early on in the game, but Barker, James, Tamgart, Penkovic, Patterson, Gleeson and Royston, the try scorers for the Halifax side. And Lee Patterson kicking 4 of the goals, but not his normal accurate self here tonight. Maybe that could be said of the Halifax performance as well, although Bob Bezic pointing out that Doncaster, give them credit, were a lot tougher than people were anticipating. But it still means that Halifax return to winning ways.